Good morning. Let's see. Where's my control panel? Good morning. Look at the smiling faces. Who's proud of themselves for this week?
Good morning.
You can actually
Good morning.
raise your hands.
Morning, brother, man.
Good morning, brother.
I had to update my Zoom as I was driving.
39
We got,
participants.
I'm almost, so I can't see everything. What do we got? How many? Who's showing up?
We have 41. They're still coming in.
Beautiful.
We had over 100
Beautiful,
last
beautiful.
Monday.
You know what? It's fun. It shows a lot.
It does.
Those of you who are showing up, you're in the game. And it really is a game. It's a sport. And I hope you guys are treating it as one. And who was I talking to the other day? I was talking to one of the agents. The old analogy of amateur versus professional, right?
Yeah. What's the difference between amateur and
What's the
professional?
difference between amateur? Two things. One, they get
Practice.
paid. Right. One gets paid, and the reason they get paid is because they practice, and they get professional in their skills. So that's exactly what we're looking for. This is the professional group who's looking to take their business to the next level. It's really cool. So what we're looking to do is, since we're in this room format now, let's talk about some successes first. Yeah. What are the best things that happened to you this week? You guys just kind of
Hey,
take.
Chris, if you don't mind, I think it's relevant, Jeff. Read Kimberly's email. She's taking care of her dying mother-in-law. Her husband just had knee replacement surgery. But during all that turmoil, what happened?
She made 32 contacts this week and continued to build her real estate business, and in turn became super proud of herself for taking all of those actions because of the accountability that that we're putting in place for her. She's made a decision that she's going to show up. She's going to continue to do that, because most every other time there's always been some type of excuse. Instead of making excuses, she's making decisions. And those decisions are, these things are going to happen. I have to do them, but these things also have to happen. I'm going to continue to do those.
That was a great example of no excuses.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry, Jeff. I thought that was.
Hey, Jeff, I think I made a nice little poll that everybody can start kind of filling out as we're talking too, just to kind of gather some insight.
Tell us about it. What did you put on there?
Well, I'm going to share it right now. I'm going to launch it. It's basically just talking about the connections that you made. If you got any appointments, kind of what went well and what didn't go well. Like, what do you want? What went well, what didn't highlight, and what got in your way. And I figure for those that get a little nervous about talking, this is an opportunity to put some stuff in here. But definitely, this is the group of people that are here for you. That let's talk about this stuff and start answering some of these. If you guys, if you don't mind. I think this will give us, some nice talking points.
I love this, Jimmy. I love what you do, because guys, look, this is participation, right? This is the ultimate peer group. There's no judgment. This is everybody here is looking to get better, and I love that you put this together. And I love some of the things. What is the highlight of the week and what got in your way? Because look, we're human. We all have problems. We all have life. We all have issues. We all have things we're dealing with right now. But part of this is, like, we just read that email and just talked about that scenario. You've got to get committed. When you get excited about things, you're going to get committed, and things don't get in the way. What's the line? You either make excuses, right? Or you make things happen. It's your choice. And our job is to figure out what is getting in the way, right? If anything is getting in the way, and how do we help you get rid of the things that are in the way so you get excited about creating that big ass smile on your face. So take a second and let's answer that poll.
Yeah, just to go through some of the questions on there, and they're right in front of you. So if you all wouldn't mind, please open up the survey that's there and say, do you have a big ass smile yet? Yes, no, or maybe just a little bit. Did you make your contacts every day? Yes, no, some. How many appointments did you get? What was the highlight of your week? That's going to require you to type in and give us a little feedback. And then what was it that got in your way?
By the
Like
way, this
Jeff-
is all anonymous. So
Yeah,
it's not
we're
like-
not going to see who typed anything. It's all anonymous. And like Jeff said, you're either when you have these weeks like this, you're either going to be making excuses or you're going to be making progress. And you have a decision. I'm going to make the excuses or I'm going to take the action and I'll make progress. And just remember, anything is progress. Making just a few calls this week is still progress from what you did last week. So just because you may not have made all of them, you made some and you're here today and that's progress. So I applaud all of you for showing up. We got 63 online.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's amazing and it's still growing.
Perfect. 12 people are taking the poll. I can't see what 12.
Good. I'm switching computers over here.
Man, so many people on cameras today too. This is phenomenal.
While you're taking that poll, does anybody have any success stories that they want to share? Anybody want to jump out and just come out of the gates and just say, hey, I did this and this was pretty awesome. And I'm really proud of myself for doing it. And these are the results I got. Anybody would like to share?
I'll jump in.
Tell me,
Sure.
Kat, what did you do, Kat?
Well, I'm on my way to appointment now, but I made close to 100 calls. Yes, that's being an overachiever. I have 6 appointments and I had 2 new agents join our brokerage. And the biggest reason was the phone calls. People really like to hear your voice. They don't want to see just text messages anymore. Everybody is texting them. So conversations matter. So it was a really good week. And I know there's going to be lots more stories just like mine.
Let's keep them coming. That's Kat. That's awesome.
That really is.
Who's
You know,
next?
You know what's fun about that with Kat for just a second? Kat doesn't have to do this, right? She gets excited. She creates a vision. She has a next level. She has a desire for a big ass smile. She enjoys accomplishments along the way, and it gets her something excited about to wake up for every morning, right? That's what this is about, guys. It's about really designing and really uncovering the spark, right? You all are ahead of most people in the industry. You're up, you're dressed, you're sharp, you're learning, you're here, you're contributing. You're like light years ahead of probably 80% of the people in the industry already. So other successes. Let's hear some more good things from the week.
Hey, this is
I
Jack.
have- whoop, okay.
Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. I'll go after.
This is Jackie. Of course, I'm an overachiever, like a crazy person, but I did about 10 calls a day. And then I sent out video text to about 10 people as well. So that's my 20. And what a success week I've had. First, I had somebody that I had been talking to. So I listed their house that in my neighborhood that went up. And then I responded to one of those goofy Facebook things that said, hey, I'm looking for a good agent in Triple Creek. And she actually contacted me and I have an appointment with her tomorrow morning to list her house in Triple. So there's a second one in Triple Creek. I got a friend who called me and said, hey, can you help me? My ex is wanting to sell the house. And I went down there yesterday for a listing preview. And I had a listing preview with a FSBO. And also I have 2 buyers. So that's from the calls I've made.
What was the price of the FSBO?
$875.
Sweet.
And what she said to me is that these realtors are calling me all the time. I can't tell you how many realtors are calling. So I called her back yesterday and I said, it was such a pleasure to meet you. And just curious, how many realtors called you today? And she said, I've lost track. And I said, well, you do know how to stop that. If you hire me, they'll call me. And she smiled and said, let's talk. And I'm going to get back with her again Saturday. But it's $875, nice house in Lute. So on 3 acres, beautiful home.
Nice job, Jackie. Excellent
Sweet.
job. Who else? We had a couple other people try and chime in. It was Giovanni. I heard you on mute. Go ahead. Tell us what you did this week. Give me some successes.
Sure, sure. So I had the opportunity that like a fellow realtor friend of mine was doing an open house and he needed assistance. So I went there with him and I was able to meet a bunch of people and make a bunch of connections. I think I made 3 or 4 on that day. I also had a bunch of other people like, take my card, but as long as like I'm in there, like as long as they have something of mine, I would consider it a somewhat of a success. Some of them were a little like, kind of like a little like pulled back where they just want to like see the property because, as you know, that some people are a little nervous, due to the increasing of interest rates. But yeah, I would honestly consider that like a successful day for me personally.
I think that's fantastic, right? I mean, emotion creates motion, right? This is if anybody's watching that didn't have the success that you wanted this week, what do you think the reason could be, right? It's because it wasn't important enough. And I hope you guys understand how this game works, right? And if not, let's touch on it for a second. And Chris, I mean, we talk about this a lot, but this group especially, I want you guys to get this. Once you get the goal, right? The vision, the clarity, this is about the clarity week, right? Once you have clarity and it is so clear, you can't be stopped. That's the goal. That's the game. That's the game. It cannot be stopped. Once you get into motion with clear vision, you're unstoppable. There's nothing that gets in your way. Because just like Giovanni just talked about, he didn't have to agree to help a friend, but he put himself in motion. And just because he put himself in motion, he's out there to receive, right? People come to him. People see him. He's going places. He's putting himself in places to receive what he's asked for because he's in motion, right? But if he didn't have the clarity and something that's driving him forward, there was really easy for him to ignore a call to help an agent out. Because you're like, I'd rather just smoke my weed and eat my Cheetos in my freaking Netflix chair, right? Because you didn't have any reason to do anything, but you go that said, I want a different life. I can't wait. I deserve it. I already have it. This is the way I deserve to be living, and I'm going to get it right now, out of my way, right? You guys know this is not a hard business. Let's be honest, just between us, we're not gonna let this out to the public. We're not really needed. Okay? Somebody gets divorced and has to move into another freaking house. You're irrelevant in their life. That just happened. If we all get sucked up by alien spaceships, that person's gonna go buy a house. True? We didn't create real estate. We're just there. All we have to do is be there to intercept and receive what's going on in the world. That's all we have to do. But if you don't have a goal to fulfill, there's no reason for anything to come to you. That's the secret. It's really that simple, guys. So why we start with clarity is for that one reason right there. If you don't have something we're going to, there's nothing for you to receive, right? Chris, does that oversimplify it a little bit? But I think
it's spot on. And then from there, Giovanni, can I ask you a question? Now, how likely are you, based on the actions you took and the feelings you got from taking those actions and considering that a success, how likely are you to continue moving into next week and doing the same thing, if not a little bit more?
Very likely. I mean, like, I'm currently looking for like other, like pretty much like event.
You muted yourself by accident.
Oh, my bad. I mean, just to reiterate, like a lot more because like, I felt that was such a like good success for me. So like, I'm just looking for more like events and stuff like that. Just anything where I can be like in front of more people and just like, be as sociable as I can and try to meet as many connections as I can. So I'm just going to like try to push myself like further out.
Excellent. That's it. Then when you start making progress equals happiness, which spurs on more emotion. Emotion creates motion, and then motion and emotion start that cycle going through. And that progress that you make just continues to push you a little bit more with that vision top of mind of knowing what you want. Excellent job. So great job, Giovanni. I know I saw a couple other hands go.
Deborah Weiser.
I saw your hand up. Tell us what you did.
Okay, I knocked on doors this week. For builders. I have, let's see, for builders, because I have Scott, plus I have some builders that I use myself. And so I knocked on doors and I got 3 responses, which is great. And then I have a guy looking for a house and he told me where. So I was knocking on doors there and I got 2 responses. And I have another guy that's looking on a certain street in South Tampa. So I went all the way down that street and knocked on doors. I didn't get any responses yet, but I feel confident I will. I went to dinner and a friend of mine is married to a lady at Baycare. And she was there and she's pretty high up at Baycare and we were talking and she's going to put me in touch with their real estate department. And so the doctor referrals. And then I went to dinner and I met a guy that's an old friend and he's looking for a waterfront property because he's going to build a house. So I think I had a pretty good week. And let's see what else I have here. Oh, and I have a client that's been looking for a little while. They're from California. And last week she wanted me to look at a house in Apollo Beach and I went out and I looked at it. And it was great. And she said her husband was waiting for prices to go down. Well, it sold in 3 days. And I contacted her and I said, anything that
Nice.
is priced right and is really great will go fast. So she contacted me last night. They really like this house in Apollo Beach. So I have an appointment at 10:30 to go film it for them. So I've had a very good, busy week.
And the cause of that is you took action.
Action, and I was there. Show up.
You know what? She didn't have a good week. She created a good week.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's really the difference. She didn't have to go door knocking. Deborah Weiser, I promise you, has food in her refrigerator and gas in her car tank. She did not have to go knock on doors that day. Why did she go knock on doors that day? Because there's something that she enjoys about the process and the journey of going somewhere along the way. Right? That's it.
It's an Easter egg hunt.
Right? It's an Easter egg.
Exciting.
It's a game.
It's a
Yep.
game. It's a sport. It's a sport that pays
It's a
really, really
sport.
well.
It's like some people play golf. I like to go out and earn money.
Right? Because you like cool stuff and experiences and places and people and going to neat. Do you think you have something you're looking forward to? I bet you there's a trip on the horizon, right? Of some
Yeah.
place you want to go. And you don't stay in the Motel 6s, right?
Right.
Nothing, there's anything wrong with that. Yes, there is a lot wrong with that. But she's not doing that. She has that experience that she's doing it. And then by having a couple $100,000 sitting around in her bank account, guess what she can do? Whatever she wants. And that's the type of lifestyle she deserves to be living. And that's why she sets herself in motion. I bet you know what you don't hear about? She doesn't talk about the people that didn't answer the door. She doesn't talk about the people that said, I'm not interested, stop knocking on my door. She didn't talk about the people that just peeked through the blinds and said, oh, no, go away, right? What does she talk about? What does she focus on? Success. She talks about the highlights. Every one of us, everybody who has a highlight has way more failures than they do highlights, right? But it's about what happened that was great. So today when she goes out, what is she thinking about? The cool things that happened the last time she was door knocking. A lot of people say, I'm not door knocking. Remember I went that one time 3 years ago and that one person said they don't like real estate agents and they closed the door on me. That's why I don't go door knocking, right? As they sit in Motel 6 on vacation, right? That's the difference, right? It's just the focus. I love it. I love creating the motion, guys. Tell me some more good stuff.
Well,
Hey,
Carolyn, hand up.
I'm gonna end this poll real quick. I don't know if it's gonna pop up anything. So, okay, no, we're good. Go ahead. I know Carolina has her hand up and Melissa also raised her hand too.
Beautiful.
So Carolina, you want to unmute and let us know how everything went?
Good morning. Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Loud and
Okay,
clear.
perfect. So I had 16 contacts. Out of those, I had 5 people that want to go ahead and get started with purchasing. I had 2 appointments that I did this week. I went back. So what I focused on this week was going back to all of my old leads that I haven't touched base with in a while. So I just kind of went back and I did between emails, phone calls, and text messages. And I used the Hometown Heroes program as well. And so that actually got a lot of attention. So it was great because even people that are not necessarily interested or are approved for that program, they had someone that they were going to pass it along to. So a couple of people came back and say, oh my God, I know my cousin can use that program. So that was good. I would say my highlight for the week is the fact that, you know, one of the things that Mike said last week that I was like, oh my God, that's so me, like that this year, that's what it is, consistency. And, you know, there were days this week that I was, I felt like overwhelmed with work and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to go back and I'm going to do my calls. And, you know, I'm just proud of myself for actually making sure that I stay with the consistency throughout the week of making my calls.
That's perfect.
And the honesty is awesome too. I mean, the drunk monkey tried to stop her. You guys notice that? It made a really nice attempt and she said, no, I'm not going to let that happen because I'm committed to whatever she's committed to, whatever the driving force is right now. So the big goal, the reason why we obviously didn't set super high goals for this week is because it's more important than the goals this week is the mindset and the clarity to be able to do what you just did. Is be able to say, push the resistance because you're going to have the resistance and just getting over it for 5 is awesome. So congrats on that.
Let me add on that I agree 100%. I think that honestly, the last quarter when we were doing the you know, mastermind again and our goals, I can say that this time around, it doesn't feel as overwhelming to think, okay, 5 contacts, I can totally do that. And because my mind is already thinking that is so obtainable, I was able to do even, you know, more calls in one day and reach out versus thinking, oh my God, 50 people. Like, because if I had one day that I couldn't get to them, now by the next day, I felt so defeated that I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to obtain this. So thank you for, you know, setting up a goal that is obtainable and that in our minds, it feels like I can totally do that and more. So.
That's awesome. No, just pay attention to what she did too. She identified the point when the drunk monkey tried to come in and tried to stop her. She identified it, she interrupted it, and then she replaced it with something different because you had a realistic, reasonable goal that you wanted, that you felt you could achieve. We set the standard a little bit lower. It felt like I can definitely do that. So when the drunk monkey stepped in, you said, no, you're going to sit right over there. I'm going to feed you when you're right. When I'm ready, we will go for a walk. We'll go do this. We'll go take it. We'll sit on the couch. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to finish this. And when I'm finished with this, then we'll be able to do that. But I have to do this. It's just, we have patterns of staying in our comfort zone. And the way you break a pattern is to identify it, interrupt it, and replace it with something different. She identified it, she interrupted it and said, nope, not going to happen. We're not doing that shit. We're not going down that path. And then replaced it with, this is what I'm going to do because this is what I committed to. And this is why I want to do it. And she had that feeling of knowing what she wanted. Awesome job, Carolina.
Awesome job. And there's a couple really cool things about this one. The attainable small goal is hurdle number 1, right? And saying, I know like everybody can do 5, right? You absolutely can't. Everybody can do 100, but you certainly can do 5. So we all know that's an attainable issue. And then once you hear what Kat did and what Jackie did, what Carolina did, that's the internal drive, right? That's the internal part of you, which is awesome. That gets fueled by your clarity and your vision. So once you hit number 6, it's like a whole different dimension opens up for you. You cleared the 5 hurdle, you're fine, right? It tells the drunk monkey was sitting there. His whole goal was to trick you into saying, don't do 5. Please don't do 5. I'm so comfortable where I am right now. Please don't. Look at that show. Check that email. Your car tire is low. You can't drive like that. You better go fix that. Go find that. There's dishes in the dishwasher. Please don't hit your 5, please, right? So once you shatter that 5 goal, the drunk monkey literally just visually shrinks. His power goes away completely. And then now you're like, wait a second. I don't have any appointments this afternoon. I'm going to go hit 30. I'm just going to keep going until 4 o'clock and see what happens because the resistance shattered. That's what happens.
Well,
Right.
look what also happened. The goal was 5 a day, 25 for the week. She made 16 and still got 5 solid connections of people that are starting the process of getting pre-approved to start to buy a home. Just with a smaller goal and a smaller action, taking that action with that feeling, knowing that she can do it, she created basically a 33% return on her action by getting one out of every 3 people.
Three. Makes you want to call 3 more and get 2.
Love it. Love it. It's exactly what we're intending. This is fantastic. Who else? Who's got their hand up? This is for sharing, guys. You're teaching a lot of people when you volunteer out.
If you'd like to share, go ahead, raise your hand.
Raise your hand,
Put
I'll
you
put
to
you
the top of the list. We'll go down and pull you, or raise your hand on your screen on your video. We'll see you. Melissa Gill.
Good morning.
Morning.
I had a great week. So far, I've had 20 contacts that I made, and I don't know if you count people calling me, but I had 2 people call me on an open house that I've done. My highlight of the week is I've upped my clarity. I think I lowballed myself on what I can accomplish. So I went back and revised some things as far as my goals. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me in regards to seeing me more active on social media. I've been doing open houses every week. I've been signing up for floor duty. I've been door knocking, making my calls, just putting myself out there.
Now, and there was a time when you weren't doing that, Melissa, right?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
But this is really important because I suspect there's a couple people on this call that are still in that time period, right? Where they didn't really put themselves out there this week. And that's okay, right? It's natural. You have one of our intentions here is to make it so crystal clear, right? What the force that's against you is, right? And it's you. It's not you. It's the drunk monkey inside of your brain. That's the one force we have to come over. Melissa's is a very powerful beast, right? All of our drunk monkeys are powerful beasts. And it kept her for a very long time sold on the idea to not get out there, right? Do not make the calls. Do not hold the open houses. Why would you do that? Don't knock on the doors. What are you going to do on social media? Come on, it's stupid. If you don't want to show people what you have for breakfast, right? All the other taping that we have in our brain to justify the reasons to give into the force that allows you to stay suppressed, right? And what fires me up about this one, the big ass smile of Chris and Craig and Jimmy, the whole Mike, all of our management team, Kat, Thomas, Julie, everybody, is watching you guys break through that terror barrier we talk about a lot, right? This is the exciting part about this. But I want you, everybody here who didn't get across that barrier this week, it's okay, right? But we're getting closer than we were the week before. And that's the most important part. But you can do this, right? And if you got across the 5 barrier, what's it going to be like at 6 barrier and 7 barrier and 17 barrier and 30 and 50 and 100 barrier? Should you want to do that, there's nothing that limits you. It's just your beliefs and your desire and your vision for what kind of lifestyle you want to live, right? You want to do a pool? Great. Do you want a $30,000 pool, a $70,000 pool, a $400,000 pool, $1 million pool? What's the difference?
Number of people you talk to.
That's it, right? Or the people that you talk to, right? We always joke around, if you want to have a big fat bank account, you should have like bruised knuckles because their big solid doors, right, are harder. The $5 million houses have harder wood on their front door than the $180,000 houses. So I mean, it's just the same effort, but a bigger check. And that's why, like, when you see Deborah door knocking, she's not door knocking $189,000 neighborhoods, right? There's 2 commas in front of her doors, right, which changes her commission checks and all the way across. So I just love watching this going through the next levels. Jessica's got her hand up here. What do you have to share?
Hello. Okay, so my focus is past clients and my sphere. And so I do a lot with social media. I met with my brand photographer yesterday and we did a new photo shoot. She came to the office, so that was super fun. I met with a lender partner this week and we are setting up a home buyer seminar for March. So she's done a couple events in the past, so she has experience with sending out invites and times that work best and everything. So I'm kind of running with some of her strategy, and we're going to do it on a Thursday night in March.
Live or Zoom like this?
A live one.
Okay.
We're going to make it like a happy hour in person for home buyers. So hopefully it goes better than my first attempt.
I'm
many
sure
years
go
ago.
live while you're doing it.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, we'll probably do both. I had a listing presentation this week from a past client. I also spoke with a past client and they aren't getting emails from me. And I looked into my Moxie and realized that I don't have my 2016, 2017, 2018, or 2019 past clients at all as a contact in Moxie. So I guess I was bad with my Zap. So I've been inputting my past clients and tagging them as past clients. And I've created a monthly campaign that's going to go out to all of them.
We can pull a report for you that has all that. It's all the consumer mailing list and Dash. And you can just import it.
That might be helpful. I do have a spreadsheet I've kept everybody on, but I don't have some of their phone numbers and email addresses, so I'm gonna work on that.
If you put 'em- just for anybody that knows, if you want past client information, if you put their name, phone number, email on the deal sheet, we have a report we can pull that has their name, phone number, and email on it, and I can send it to you, or your manager, or anybody can send it to you. So if you need it, if it was on the deal sheet, we'll get it for you.
Cool. Okay, that's super helpful.
Which is why everyone should fill out your deal sheets.
Jess,
Yeah.
before you go on a little bit, I want to bring something. So you didn't make the Monday call, correct?
Correct. I did
Yeah.
not make the Monday call.
So, but we were on a meeting after that and we were talking about the goals that we had set for the team, and it was only 5 contacts a day. And what did you say when you heard it was 5 contacts a day?
Oh God, I can do that. Thank God, it's only 5.
And
I
did
felt like Carolina. I was like, wow, this is actually attainable. Because yeah. the other
now
ones
did
were-
you how many contacts did you get this week? Did you get 5 a day?
So I didn't necessarily write all of them down. I
Okay.
probably made 3 to 4 a day that came from social media, people like sending me DMs and having conversations with them about real estate. And yeah, I probably only did like 3.
How would you have felt? How would you have felt if we were on that meeting and we said, yeah, we set the goal, it's 100 contacts this week and it's already halfway through the day Monday. How would you have felt if that was the goal?
I would have been swamped.
And
I would have felt swamped.
And if you only made 3 or 4 contacts this week, each day this week, like you already did, would you feel better about yourself or worse about yourself if the goal was 100 instead of 5 a day for 25 for the week? So right now, sitting here, do you think you'd be smiling, telling us about everything you did? Or would you be over here, maybe not even putting your hand up to share because I only did 3 or 4?
Probably wouldn't be putting my hand up because I feel like I got a lot accomplished this week, but I didn't make the contacts. But I sent out an offer this morning for a buyer. I got a different buyer under contract, and I had a listing appointment, and I have a buyer in town from South Carolina that I've been shopping with this week. So that's
Holy shit, that's an awesome week.
active clients, and I have 3 pending, and like, so that I feel like is good. And I'm working on my past clients follow up and my brand photography, and I'm scheduling things. So it's like, I feel good, but if I didn't make 100 contacts, I probably wouldn't have shared with you anything that I did.
And
this
you would
week.
have felt worse about it, and you would have probably done less or probably not made every other call, where if you made the calls, you'd be hiding with your video off, not wanting to share anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that's the motion creates emotion creates motion. We're just continuing to push that out there and make sure that you see this. Like, even if you don't make the contacts, the number of the goal, it's about the feeling, because look at how the feeling continued to push her and how the feeling continued to make her say, I'm proud of what I did, rather than, man, I didn't hit my goal. Even though she
Right.
would have made the same amount of contacts, 3 or 4 a day. If the goal was 100, she probably wouldn't be sharing and she'd be feeling like she's a disappointment.
She wouldn't be on the call.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's one thing though, and this is very important, because you are on the journey growing a phenomenal business, Jess. Super proud of you, right? Now, at that same time, we have to care about the business.
Mhm.
The challenge is if you don't continue doing at least 5 new outbound contacts a day, you're going to have a business like this.
Right.
And we've all been there. You've had that month that you crushed it, you made 50 grand. And then you had the month that you didn't make anything. Right. And then you had the month you made 6. And then you had the
That was
month
last
you
year.
made 2. Right. But so this is the problem, because everything you just rattled off was phenomenal. The client from South Carolina, the buyers, this, the showings, that's all direct result of the effort you put in 30, 60 days ago and a year ago and 18 months ago with your continued postings, right? Because you are earning top of mind awareness, which is the ultimate goal for everybody, is to never have to do outbound contacts, to have enough coming into you, right? But if you allow the drunk monkey to say, Jess, you're so busy, you don't have to make these contacts. Look, you've got 4 appointments this week, right? That's the trap. Because
Right.
as soon as you allow him, her, whatever, what's the name of your drunk monkey? Do you have the name?
No, but I should create one.
Name it. Every one of us needs to name ours, guys, because we have to be aware, because he made 3 or 4, says, dude, you crushed it. Look how busy you are. Awesome, right? And the reality of it is going, she's going to have a shitty February, right? Because he's going to win. You're like, no. So that's when your schedule becomes, as the busier you get, all of you, ton of top agents on this call, right? The busier you get, the only job you have is managing your what, Greg?
Schedule.
That's it, right? So as you get more and more professional, you have to have go time, right? It's 9:30 to 10. I don't care what's happening. You're not bugging me. I'm going to reach out to my 25 DMs. Just, hey, what's going on? Your dog looks cute. How's life? Oh my gosh, you guys just went to North Carolina. I love it up there. Right? You have to just have that time set aside, whether it's 9:30 to 10 o'clock at night, doesn't matter, right? But you have to have lead gen time set aside every day, no matter how busy you are, or else you're going to have a business that's going to be disappointing and stressful. Because what we want for you is to create enough consistent income that all your monthly needs are met. You're stacking cash so you can keep going buying some investment properties, right? Or putting money away somewhere that's going to spit off a return. So one day when you want to say, you know what, I want to take June off and I want to go kayaking and hiking in Zimbabwe. Do it, because you got 14 rental properties that are paying you 10 grand a month and your house is paid off and you're good to go, right? If that's your journey, right? It may not be your journey, but from our business perspective, we want to empower, educate, and encourage you to keep going until you are living that big ass smile lifestyle. And this step is getting the clarity first, so know what that lifestyle is. So 3 or 4, as great as it is, isn't good enough when your clarity is big enough and if your goal was 5. Does that make sense? I want, so that's the point. And then maybe the goal becomes 3 and then you hit it, which is great. If the goal is 10, it's 10. If it's 20, it's 20. If it's 5, it's 5. But that's the fun part. So that's it. I mean, it's tough.
Knowing what your goal is leads you to know how many contacts you need to be making.
And let you know when you're done too, because there's something to be said for, if my goal is to hit 7, you could hit 700. You have thousands of followers and friends and things. You could go until you just passed out, exhaustion, because it's time to go to sleep. You can't have a life that way either. So when you have the goal to hit 12 a day, you don't have to hit 13.
But then there's the opposite side of that, of not having enough clarity and knowing what you want. You just want more money or more contacts, and you make one more contact, you tell yourself you're done and you stop too soon. So that's where clarity becomes an absolute power, to know what you want and setting that goal. Because if I have that goal, I know when I'm done, when I make those 12 contacts, 5 contacts, whatever it is. But if I say I just want more contacts, I made 1, well, that's more. And, technically you're done. You don't have to do more, and we stop. So creating clarity gives you that balance on both sides, knowing when you're done on both sides to make sure you hit enough and make sure you do enough.
And something else I want to talk about before we get the next couple of hands up. I heard Giovanni say it. People are concerned about the interest rates and it's keeping them from buying. We have to erase that thought. Jessica, you and I talked the other day, and you're like, Dad, I think I'm gonna have 7 deals this month. That's a hell of a month.
That's
7
awesome.
transactions in a month, right? So your people aren't saying, well, I can't buy because of interest rates, are they?
No,
So
I just had a conversation yesterday. They said, they said it was going to be like 6.325 or something. And they said, that's pretty good. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, right.
They were 7 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
right?
And
So I
had
think
that
we all have to have that
conversation.
confidence in the market, because the market we're in is a good market. Who was I talking to? Oh, I was, Jeanette Martinez. She got up, has a listing. She got an offer on the listing with a home sale contingency, which we're saying are okay now, right? Because the market is slowing down and it's okay. So we had a strategy session on how to handle that. But it ended up, she did take the home sale contingency. They put their home on the market. It sold in 3 days and now they're moving closing up 3 months. Right? So I just want you guys to know those real stories are still happening. That's really an important part of having the team meetings. Because you're hearing real market stuff. And look at the hot sheets. I'm with 3 days this week with 10 sales a day. That's good. That's an idea. That's a lot. We're doing just fine. So
I was-
keep that
I'm in
in
a multiple offer situation for offer input submitting this morning.
right. Hear that? What world are you living in?
Now, here's an interesting analogy, right? How many of us remember when it was $1.87 a gallon gas, right? Not long
Right.
ago. How many remember when it was $5 a gallon gas? Not long ago. We were happier at $1.87 gas, but we were still driving at $5 gas. So you don't stop living depending on what the market's doing. You just do what you do. The 7 people Jessica's going to close houses for, they would much rather be able to buy $1.87 gas or 3% interest rates, but they happen to be buying when it's $4.87 or $3.87 gas. They're still buying gas because why? They have to move. That's the point. So it is what it is. If you wanted to go buy Bitcoin right now, it's 18, 19 grand or whatever. You could have bought it at 15, but you also could have bought it at 50, right? But if you're ready to get into the market, you're going to pay whatever the market value is. So life just happens to be happening to these people, and the rates are just a byproduct. They're just part of the decision. There's nothing they can do about it. Because Jessica's smart, she's focusing on people who have to buy real estate, right? They have to buy, whether it's 4, 5, 6% interest rates, they're buying a house, period, end of story. Now, she's not going to the people who are thinking about maybe buying their extra VRBO property, right, on Homosassa River to try to cash flow it. That's not the market she's focusing in right now, because it's a lot more time, and their drunk monkeys are really fired up right now because there's a million reasons why they don't need to go buy that property. So she says, screw that. My business model is find people that need to buy and sell houses. Life is happening to them, and let's go, because they don't care how much the gas is at the pump. Does that make sense, guys?
That's a great analogy.
They're gonna buy. They're gonna buy because they have to buy. That's why we're saying that. That's why we're doing what we're doing, guys. It's an activity-based market. We have to take action. We're talking to 5, 10 people a day. You're gonna 100% find people that have life happening to them, and that's what's going to drive this quarter. Now, things may change for Q2, and I'm 100% certain they're going to have change by Q2. Right? The Fed's going to have reversed its policies by then. Rates will be down. Buyer frenzy will be different. More investors will be back in the market, but that's not how it is on January 13th. Right? So when you want to have a deal January, we need to do what we're doing right now. We are completely tuned into this market, guys. We know exactly what to have you do and when, and that's why we have you doing what you're doing right now. Is just to stay on the path, trust what we're doing, because we're business partners. And doing this stuff right now is find the people that have to buy and sell houses, and you're going to have a phenomenal business.
Yep.
Awesome.
Mr.
Dale's got
Neighbors.
his, Dale's got his hand up. What do you got for us, Dale?
You're
Hold on.
muted.
You're muted,
Dale.
buddy.
You got to unmute. Bottom left-hand corner.
The old fashioned dude.
There you go. Get little Dale to
Well,
help you.
A lot of cool things. One thing I'm pleased that I made my personal goal for 2020 with the Bagans group. Number 2, a couple of the things that I did were making calls. One was kind of interesting. I did text to, as I'm sitting in the recliner, and I might even share a couple of these with Jessica a couple of times. In between commercials on a show, I said, well, let me just, another number of people, let's just send them a text. There was even some agents that I met when I was in a conference before. And one guy, I said, you know, he happened to have a birthday. I said, happy birthday. And he says, do you work Riverview Sun City Center? I have a referral for you. So I thought that was not a bad gig. And they're selling their home where he is, and they'll be cash buyers to buy a house probably in another month. I did some, I go to the Dollar Tree or $1.21 tree or 25, and I get their little cute bags and I do drive-bys is what, you know, I guess pop-bys is what they used to call them.
Brian Buffini.
After our meeting that we had in Apollo Beach, I had just sold something. They were absentee at the closing, so I had a gift in a house in Riverview. So I took them their bag of goodies there. And then I had just a short follow-up, a little medical with the doctor's office. So I had a bunch of my bags and started giving the support staff and everybody a little tiny gift. It looked like I was Santa at the doctor's office. So that was kind of fun. And then I went to I'm in the South Tampa Chamber, and the mayor spoke this week, and the room was full. And I think I got from that, you know, 3 or 4 contacts with just people there again, that face to face with some other people in there. So it was kind of an interesting combo of stuff of what I was trying to do. You know, a
That's
little
awesome.
high tech, low tech.
Action though, it's action, it's putting himself out there, right, to receive. That's the goal, that's the thing. So love it.
One other comment. I always try to put everything has to have It's a Wonderful Day in Dale's Neighborhood. So, you know, because that makes people actually smile when they see that.
Yep.
And
And that's
you
your brand.
might want to also embed anything you do with your web site, so it's a hyperlink. I know that I think I shouldn't be squealing, but I think that's how I had a lot of, according to Mr. Jimmy, I had a lot of responses because of everything I do has my hyperlink on it.
There you go.
And it was just kind of a kooky thing. I decided to try it and see what happened. And my last thing is I have 29 5-star Google reviews. I went 100 on Google.
Perfect. All
Great.
right. We got Georgia and Andrea up with hands. Do you want to go first, Chris?
Georgia, go ahead. You had your hand up earlier. I saw you raised your hand earlier. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. So I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone, and I did 17 calls. I had 2 appointments from the 17 calls.
Holy cow.
And part of my comfort zone, Mike's been sending out the morning or daily posts. I took that and I turned it into a video. It's the first video I've ever made for just talking with my clients and things like that. So I sent that out. And that's not my typical norm, but I did go outside the box and do that. And also just making sure that I'm answering my phone with all of the calls. There was an Ojo call that I've got a showing today for Sun City Center, and then just kind of tapping into my sphere and my existing client base. I have a house that I just listed, and he has a daughter who lives in Virginia. So he had to move up to Virginia. So we started talking about the needs that she needs for her handicapped son and her dad, who's 101 years old. And I just did 2 referrals for her to purchase a new house in Virginia for up to $600,000 and sell her house. So I sent that as a referral to a Century 21 or a Century 21 in Virginia. So just doing the activities and really making the calls, and again, not having them set so high, it really did encourage me to make sure that I was making it a priority.
Love it.
Awesome.
Great job. All right, Andrea.
Good morning, everyone. So this has actually helped me immensely because on the other hand, I will literally sit and make 20, 50 calls a day and kind of just push it there and kind of like beat that dead horse. So it's caused me to put down on paper and actually release some people. I started training with Thomas coaching, I should say, when I first started, and then I went more of a verbal. I'm back on the paper. I know where I need to be to grow my business. I know it's the process prospecting. So this has caused me to actually pull away and push out prospecting. I had a couple appointments this week on some listing previews. So again, coming out of my comfort zone of actually repetitively going after my buyers and calling them, past clients, things that I'm comfortable with, and going to where I know I need to grow my business. Again, social media is not my thing. I am now using Mike Puma's, I went across all my, the Facebook, the LinkedIn and all that, pushing everything out. I sent the sellers the post there with home ownership to all my past sellers. And again, they responded. And I also have an elderly mom, so I took her to a couple appointments and I handed out in 2 days 6 cards. So I'm like, okay, if I go somewhere that day, 3 cards are going out. And just creating the conversation. If I can't help them, if you have someone I can help, I would love that type of thing. So just trying to limit my time where it needs to be, and then going after what I need to grow my business. So awareness, basically.
Love it. Love
It's
it. Love it.
fantastic.
I've got a question. It's kind of a contrarian thought on this one. Who had a difficult time this week that would like to share about it, that we can help? Because I promise you, if you speak, there's other people very similar to what you had. As far
Well,
as
Jimmy, why don't we start with Jimmy? Share the results from the poll. That'll show you that there are people that have had a tough time, that didn't make some of the contacts, didn't get there. And then if anybody would like to share on that and tell us why you think you had a hard time or what was difficult for you. Do you want to read some of the results off, Jimmy?
Yeah, let me share it because I downloaded it. Hold on one sec. Let me get that in here.
While you're doing that, Angela Morse put her first D.R. Horton under contract. She's worked with this client for almost 2 years. I called and said, look, there's only 3 Lantanas left. You're going to miss the bus. She signed yesterday. Good job.
That's cool. All right. So here's our survey. And by the way, I think I'm going to send this out every Friday. So just kind of be prepared that this is pretty much what we're going to see, just because I want to see these numbers go up. Because like, just looking at this, like, do you have a big ass smile yet? Like 51% are kind of like a little. We're going to get like 100 people up to like smile. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Contacts, how many people actually did. So I think this is good to see, because for the people on the call that didn't make all the contacts, you can see there's some people
You're not
that are in
alone.
the same boat, right?
But look at it. So go back up there. Did you make your contacts? Yes, I made my contacts. No, I didn't. Everybody that said no, you had the opportunity to put some, because no, you didn't make your contacts, but I made some. So just a simple shift in your mindset and attitude of saying, okay, I didn't make my contacts, but I did make some. Maybe we click on the some box, because you got to give yourself credit for what you did do. You got to give yourself credit for making the contacts that you naturally were not going to make.
Yep. And I mean, look at this. I mean, we even had 3 people that had over 4 appointments that they got this week.
And guys, in 1 week, we weren't
Cool.
supposed to get appointments on 25 deals.
Right. We were.
And we got.
So, all right,
What
cool.
were some
So,
what were some of the challenges? We've talked a lot about the highlights. Can we go down to the challenges? What stopped you? And let's go back to the top of that and let's talk about that.
okay. So what got in your way? So again, if anybody wants to speak up and talk to these, you don't have to, but they're here. You know, my buyer giving roadblocks, but by not supplying info.
Yeah,
COVID.
existing business slowed me down, maybe not get my contacts, studying and moving, had COVID. My normal routine of following up and updates, no one and no thing got in my way. Appointments got in my way, not a bad problem to have. Anybody want to share based on this, what got in your way? Meredith, I see your hand go up. Did you want to share?
Sure. So I had a lot going on this week. I've been sick with a sinus infection, which turned into an earache. I ran a marathon on Sunday while I was sick because I signed up for it a year ago. So that was extremely difficult. I wasn't able to walk for 2 days after that. Thursday and Wednesday, I took the first 2 days of my GRI 100 class, which was long. Thankfully, I passed the test with flying colors, but it's just been a really busy week. And so I didn't have a lot happening, but Monday and Tuesday, I managed to get in 10 contacts each day. And I get a couple last night and a couple the night before. And of course, I still have today and this weekend to squeeze in some more. So I had a lot, but at least I got my contacts in.
Awesome. So even with all that going on, even with all of the potential roadblocks, you still managed to get the full amount of contacts in for the week.
Definitely have to get them in.
And why did you commit to getting those contacts? You know, what was it that made you decide to do that, even though you couldn't walk, had an earache, and ran a marathon? Like, what made you decide to do those still?
Well, I've been around for a little while now, but I still consider myself new since I haven't actually had any business yet. So I need to keep reaching out no matter what, because that's the only way I'm going to get the business. So I have to. Eventually it'll happen.
Well, I'm proud of you for still showing up and making the contacts that you did and getting the number of contacts you committed to, even with everything else going on. And just keep that in mind. Like, if you didn't run a marathon and you couldn't walk for 2 days and you didn't have an earache and you didn't have all that going on, what was your excuse? Why didn't you make your contacts? That's crazy. That's awesome. Who else wants to share what may have gotten your way? What may have slowed you down this week? Miss Vicky, you got your hand up. What happened? You're muted.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I didn't make all of my contacts, but I did make some good connections, which I thought was very helpful. I didn't do a lot of phone calling because my voice was sounding like I had an old frog in my throat. But I thought face-to-face was better for me than making my phone calls. And I also texted and I also direct messaged. I had a pre-listing appointment yesterday from my text messages that I sent out for Merry Christmas to all my past customers. So I thought that was really pretty cool. And so anyhow, I had two very good connections, and one of them never would have happened, but I was in the grocery store, and because I'm in this group, I decided, okay, I'll go ahead and have a conversation with this person.
Okay.
And we had a very nice conversation, and she's renting here now in Apollo Beach and wants to buy something. So we exchanged names and phone numbers. So it was a pretty good week after all.
Yep. And the fact that you did more than you would have done.
Yes.
And every excuse to do nothing if you wanted to pull that card.
Yeah, no, being on this group is not allowing me to do nothing.
Did you do the garden meeting?
No, that meeting there's a meeting next Thursday that I signed up for with a group of local residents.
Okay, I thought she texted me that it was 12:30 yesterday, but might have been next week.
No, I had a preview listing appointment yesterday at 12:30.
Oh, good.
Miss Gigi, I saw your hand up. Did you want to share?
Yeah, I thought I would. Well, I did all of my texts for Christmas and for New Year's. I did 140, between 140 and 150 each for each of those. Although maybe if like 10 or 20 were to Beggins people. But I've made the schedule, like I really laid it out, and it like really defines when I need to do all my posts and mailings and door knocking. And I've been really sticking to it for the last 2 weeks. I had a really good day on Tuesday. I did a 250 piece mailing, and it was to different they were some were postcards, some were to my farm. And I've been doing these post boosts for agents who are letting me boost or advertise their listings each month up north. But I guess my biggest point is I'm really sticking to my schedule that I made. And I did I dropped off 100 cards on Tuesday evening. And I talked to 7 people that were significant conversations. And so that was really cool. So I didn't do exactly, I don't really have the past clients that some of the agents have. So I didn't do exactly what the assignment was, but I also like to be able to speak it like I am right now, because this is out of my comfort zone to be telling everybody what I'm doing and being accountable. So that's what I've been doing.
Awesome.
Why we're doing this.
So you had 7 good connections this week?
Yeah, I mean, enough to where, I explained who I was. They were close by, so kind of in the neighborhood.
Awesome.
Just conversations where people were very friendly and names, exchange names and stuff like that.
Now, I heard you say you set a schedule and you're following a specific schedule. What made you decide to set that schedule, and what made you do that?
I've been trying to for a long time. And I've never, because I have my job, my administrative job, I do have to kind of work around that. So I don't know, I guess it just took a lot of tries to finally get it right and get it adjusted for me and what is, what really works and what is realistic. And I just kept trying. I've been trying, and this one is really working for me. I don't know. I've just really been making a point to stick to it.
Do you think being held accountable to these calls, to the mastermind calls and to the actions that you're supposed, do you think that had anything to do with you continuing to push and commit to that schedule and finally deciding that you were going to be able to get it right, to be able to make the contacts? Do you think that had anything to do with it? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this makes a huge difference for me. So, and we're all at different levels. I'm fairly new, so yeah, this works for me.
Awesome.
This helps me. Yeah.
Now here's the fun part. This is only Friday and our week goes until Monday. And we're going to have a new task on Monday for you, but we're still in the task of this week right now. So if you found yourself not at the 25 or the 5 a day, you've got 2 days, right? So it's the conversation time with you and your drunk monkey to see what you can do. And then if I could tell you, when you get to Monday morning and you have hit it, you'll be in a different state of mind than you are if you haven't hit it so far. So you got all day today, all day tomorrow, and all day Sunday. That's a lot. That's a lot of time still for you to go do what you need to go do. And I just challenge you, if you haven't, those that were no's and sums, push yourself a little bit and let's get over it. Let's get over that hump and just go hit the connections. And you'll feel really good that you did. And then on Monday morning, we're going to have something really cool for you as well. And that'll be our task for this next week that's coming up. So I'm glad you guys are here. This is very, very cool part. And this is what it's about. And nobody forced you to be here. You did this on your own because you're on a quest. And we're here to help you get there. So in respect to time, that's about what we had allocated, unless anybody else had anything, any other issues, we're here.
Lauren's hand is up again.
I would real quick before, go ahead, Lauren, you can chat. I was gonna put 2 cents in, but.
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to be brief because I know we're over, but yeah, I had a lot going on this week, and every day I have a couple of accountability partners like, did you do it yet? Did you do it yet? And it's like, no, I'll catch up tomorrow. No, I'll catch up tomorrow. No, I'll catch up tomorrow. So went to Tony Robbins, and my partner was Jen. So and we made it a pact to get this done. And the pain was if I did not get it done, I would have to wear an FSU shirt and post it on social media. That would be the worst absolute thing. So I'm happy to say I did do my goals, but I had to get them all done. I mean, like, what did today? 15 in, yesterday. So because I've just, and the worst thing is I got to get out of my head because the last quarter mastermind, Jeff gave me a blessing to not prospect so I could catch up with my past clients. That was then, this is now. So I need you to, Jeff, to say, okay, it's not okay anymore. That was then, this is now. This is a whole outlook. And my drunk monkey, Matilda, that's her name, Matilda the monkey, and I'm like, no, Matilda, got to do this. So, and I also need you to say, get off your ass and do it. That was the fourth quarter. This is first quarter. Get your shit together.
That's right. Well, like we were talking about with Jessica earlier, if you don't consistently add new business, you're going to eventually go out of business. So, but there are times when you have enough business that you need to sort through in order to understand what you really have. And then that tells you whether or not you need to prospect or not. If you have 25 solid pre-qualified leads that need to buy this month, do not prospect right now. By all means, right? Close those deals. But then if you do your leads and you find out you only have 2, you need to prospect or else you're going to be broke in March. Right. So that's kind of the delicate balance that we look for along the way.
Yep.
And I want to remind you too, guys, I know some of you on the Zillow teams and Opcity teams and stuff like that, go through your past leads too. A lot of those people are frustrated. They didn't get to buy last year, and they're right. We're seeing a lot of, my Zillow coach goes through and says, you guys are doing a great job because look, this contract that came in this week came from a lead 6 months ago. This contract came from 4 months ago. This contract came in from 3 months ago. So those people who didn't, in that frustrating market, we gave up, they're still in there. So you've got them in your lead router and your Moxie lead engine now.
And the byproduct of this is getting inventory, identifying potential sellers, even if they're not ready right now. Because guys, I promise you, the Fed will reverse its course and rates will come down and buyer interest will go up and we will be back into bidding environment, right? But if you don't have the inventory, you're going to miss that party. So that's a byproduct of what we're doing, is keeping your eye on what's going on in the market.
Yep.
Very nice.
All right, guys, we're 9:37, so we are hit our limit and a little bit over. So like Jeff said, we still got the rest of the weekend. If you took Tuesday off, Saturday's a work day for you. If you took Thursday off, Sunday's a work day for you. If you just didn't hit your goal and you want to keep pushing, you got 2 more days to do that.
And today.
Yeah, absolutely. The rest of the day today. We got Monday is the next call at the same link, same time, same place. So show up then. We're going to have a new goal for you for the week with some new action items, new prescriptions for you. So show up with a big ass smile on Monday morning. And if you need anything, we are all available for you. Do me a favor for everybody on the call real quick. Take your right hand, put it up in the air. I can see you. Remember, your videos are on. Lean over and give yourself a pat on the back.
Showing
Awesome
up.
Yes.
Awesome job, guys.
Okay.
Congratulations for showing up. I appreciate every single one of you. So have a
You're
great
awesome.
week.
Amazing.
Yep. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.